Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at a spreadsheet, and I know this may sound a little bit weird, but this spreadsheet is pretty important. Basically, what War Thunder is doing is they are rebalancing their battle tasks. Now, battle tasks are dailies and also specials at the end of the day, and this is the whole list of them. If you want this link, I'll leave it in the description of the video, and you can have a look at it for yourself. Basically, what they're doing is they're changing a ton of values for different battle tasks, making some of them easier and some of them harder. And you may ask, why is this important, especially if you don't focus on the battle pass? It's the simple fact that this is one of the ways that you can completely forget about the grind of the game. One of the things that has been brought up a lot over the last few weeks, or even few months, or even few years, depending on how long you've been around, is the simple fact that people get stuck in this mindset that they have to grind specific vehicles, and they just, they whittle away and try and get them, and it takes them a long time to do so, and therefore they get frustrated, they get annoyed, and then yada yada yada, they start punching screens in the most extreme moment instead of seeking professional help, which is what they need. They start letting outside forces affect their lives, or affect their time in War Thunder, I should say, and then everything starts falling apart. So, the general thing that I would say when it comes to the dailies and also specials that exist in the game, they give you an opportunity to focus on something that isn't the overall grind. That is, something which can be away from that. That's why stuff like Pages of History and also events are very important, such as the tank football, which is going on right now, because it means that you don't have to think about, the grind, and you just play the game and have a bit of fun while playing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the changes and what they've done, and also what it kind of points towards compared to a few of the general changes. What's being used the most or what's been the easiest to do. We'll have a look at it from an Air RB, Tank RB, and Naval AB front, because those are the three game modes that I specifically play, and then we will kind of go from there. So, starting off with Air RB, they've increased the crits on the Eagle Eye, which isn't really a surprise. If you want a good tip on Eagle's Eye for Air RB, the AI aircraft, which go around a lot of the battlefields now, they actually count for this one. So, if you go after if you get in, let's say, a strike aircraft like the IL-10, the Mauler, or the AD, or even something like the SP-2C, you can shoot down the AI aircraft and it will count towards Eagle's Eye, so not too surprising. Then you have missions count for on and on has been increased by 1, not a huge change, so it's not going to matter that much. The activity on Activist, which is a mission 1, has been increased. That's just annoying as always, but not a huge deal. And also they've decreased mass destruction, which is surprising. Mass destruction is the daily or special that I go to, which is one of the easiest to do, because you could just turn off your brain, you can stick on a show, or you can just talk to people, and then do it with your brain turned off. There's a bunch of vehicles where this is really easy on, stuff like the SP-2C for either the Americans or the French works incredibly well for this. Then you have Wing to Wing, which obviously has been decreased too. Not a surprise, that's kind of the hard one. Once again, mass destruction is down. Interception is down. Interception is destroy, it's either bombers or strike aircraft of the enemy. That one could be super annoying, so I completely understand why that one is down. And then also destroy base count is up, because, well, there's some units which are very efficient at it, especially in the jet era. When it comes to bombers, it takes a while to do this one, but there are obviously specific ones which are completely fine with. Higher than the sky, which is placing 1 to 3, this one has gone up. I don't really agree with this one, because, not everybody can basically achieve excellence in that way. So yeah, I don't think that's a great one. For the special tasks, the crits counts for Eagle's Eye has gone up again to 30, so not a huge difference. But most of the most of the things won't be too bad for it. It's just an extra 4. It's not like, we're breaking barriers here. Higher than the sky is up to 4 instead of 3, so following the same change as this. It's kind of silly how the special task for higher than the sky is exactly the same as the medium task for it. Like, there's no difference between them. Surely you would want the medium task to be easier than a special task specifically. That seems a bit odd. Then big game has gone up to 20 from 15. Once again, there are many vehicles which are very good at doing big game. The Votors right now are incredibly good for it, just because of the simple fact that it's very easy to, as long as you get the right matchmaking, you will always kill a base with a Votor, and maybe kill 1.5 to 2, depending on what your enemy is doing, and you can do well. Worthy players up to 3, which is kind of annoying, but not a huge issue. But the mission score is at 2,000, so they've made it easier per match, but at the same time, they've increased it. Worthy play, I believe, is the one where you have to get a specific amount of mission score and also win the battle. So you basically need 3 wins with 2,000 mission score. Kind of annoying, that one, but not a huge amount, which is, terrible. Interception is down to 8. No surprise there. It can be any daily or special which is down to you having to intercept specific enemies is a waste of time. Don't bother with them, just change them and do other ones. Then you have mass destruction, so this is down again. Once again, no idea why, but that definitely helps me, so I'm fine with that. Pull the trigger, best in the air and unbreakable wing have all been decreased as well, so all of these have got easier too. So overall, I would say that if you have a look at this, so they've made the base bombing ones higher, and then also they've made the ones where you generally do better in the game, scoreboard wise higher, and also the win one higher. So general destruction of ground targets is easier. The crit one is slightly harder, but no change really there. So for my playstyle and how I do these things, this is going to be much easier. But for others, they're going to struggle, because if you're more fighter focused, basically this one is harder for you. If you are more ground or attack AI focused, this one is going to be a little bit easier. That's basically how it is, and it should be fine really at the end of the day. For tank RB, you have the Tiger. The targets destroyed count is 2 instead of 1. That's fine. No huge issue there. Bullseye is increasing. That's kind of annoying. Bullseye is the amount of crits that you do on a vehicle. It's not like they've changed fundamentally how you get crits on vehicles. Like, they've basically just made it so it's just harder to get. I suppose if you go after aircraft, it won't be too bad. At the top, which I think is place 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, you now need 4 on the easy one, or it might be 1 to 6 on the easy one. You need 4 instead of 5, so I suppose that's easier, but I don't know why you would do that daily task. One other thing that's really useful when doing these things is making sure that you're open at least in 2 or 3 different game modes to be able to change the daily tasks. You don't want to be stuck in one game mode, because you might just get some really crap daily tasks that are really hard to do. So for me, that's why I switch between like Air RB, Tank RB, or Naval AB. I can always have a look, and even look at like Air AB or Tank AB. Maybe I have like an easier thing to do there. It's always good to move around and check these things. So crits going up is annoying, but the special for the crits one was completely ridiculous anyway. It was like 120 crits, which just don't do. Like, it's just way too much at the end of the day. At the top, decreases, which is good. Assist count increases. It's not really a surprise, because you can do this in planes. Like, if you just knock a track or something like that, and then someone kills an enemy, it's super easy to get crits if you want to. The scout one has actually gone down, surprisingly. Like the intelligence one, which, it just seems odd to me at the end of the day. I thought scouts were already pretty powerful, but I suppose they're getting even more powerful with the daily changes. Crits for the medium task has also increased following the easy task one. not really a surprise. The bird hunt one is going up to 4 instead of 2, so this is, destroying air targets. Through the fire, which is kills with light or medium tanks, is going up by 2, not a huge change. Happy ending, which is wins, is going up, and then also Star Shower. Now, Star Shower is play a match where you've killed at least one aircraft, basically. That one's a bit annoying. Because, you're basically increasing it by 30%. It's going to slow you down by a game if you decide to do this one, and if people have limited time, stuff like that is annoying. The things about these ones are pretty much based on your performance, right? But with these two, specifically the happy ending one, the missions one, you're pretty reliant on your team, especially if you're playing solo. And then this one, you've got to hope that the enemy team spawns an aircraft. Like, you can go at BRs where there's a ton of aircraft, but still, they might just not turn up, so that's kind of annoying. One step ahead is down, then Scout is once again down. I don't know why. The help with repairing one set to work is down, which I think is good. That one's always a rough one. And turret to turret, which is the teamwork one, is down. I think that's very positive. Since if you get if you're playing solo, that's really hard to do. Mammoth hunting, which is destroy heavy tanks. That one's down, which is good. You should never do these ones, honestly. Once again, just any daily, which is like, hey, you need to kill these specific things. Pain in the ass. I don't know how else to put it. Because you'll just go into a bunch of matches and you won't run into any of them. And it's just how it is. Like, you go at 5-3 America or 5-3 USSR, it's like, oh, I'm going to face a bunch of tigers. Panther, 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 panther. You know what I mean? So yeah, I never bother with those daily tasks. I always change those ones. Then we have Star Shower for the special task that's increasing. That kind of sucks, but it was one of the easier special tasks, so not really a surprise. Bird Hunt also increasing, which is kind of annoying, but not the end of the world either. At the top is increasing as well. I think that's 1 to 2, isn't it? It's 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, but I don't think you need to win, so it's just you have to end up on the high end. So once again, annoying, but not a huge issue. Best on the ground going down, that's good. Because that's one of the more annoying ones, which is a bit more RNG than the other ones, depending on how your team does. Efficiency going up, that's kind of annoying, but not the end of the world. And then the mission score decreasing. I mean, it's basically what they just did to aviation, right? And then also the can-do approach is now 2 instead of 4. So they really have changed a lot of ground ones. In the aviation ones, it's like little changes here and there. Like, not massive ones, apart from maybe the crit ones. These ones, there's a lot of big changes here, which are going to affect how people play. It also shows how there's a hell of a lot more CAS elements going around than there used to be, because of just the targeting of them on the daily tasks. The fact that Bird Hunt and also Star Shower are going through the roof as 2 sets of things. And generally people are getting more kills over time, so they're increasing a lot of those as well, like the through the fire one, for example. What they really should do with the tank RB ones is reduce the special task, because obviously this doesn't show all of the special tasks that are available. This just shows the ones that they've changed. So the bullseye one, which is like 120 crits for the special task, is ridiculous. They should really lower that. And then also I think the through the fire one is like 60, which is just insane as well, especially when you compare it to most of them. But most of these changes, I'd say these ones are harder than the RRB ones, if that makes sense. But the thing is, I don't know why they've decided that scouting has to be easier. Like, the scouting challenges were always the easiest, especially if you ran certain lineups. And then Naval AB, the ones that are changing. So for Shark, it's going from 2 to 1. Not a huge change, but kind of annoying. And then for the Cannoneers, the easy and medium one, they're increasing the damage. I mean, that's fine. That's not a huge deal. To be honest with you, they're the easiest dailies to do anyway. So it's not a huge issue. Shark once again is going up in the medium task. The swordfish one is going down, and the board by board is also going down. This one's quite hard. So I think that's fair just because of the distances between people. Shark going up again, the Cannoneer one going up again, and then also swordfish going down, and the teamwork going down as well. So, I mean, usually the naval tasks are some of the easiest to do in the game. They've made one of the easier ones harder to do here, the Cannoneer one. The Cannoneer one, so the dailies were always easy, but the specials I always felt like took a little bit too much time. So I would do some of the other ones instead, like the ones where you shoot down aircraft, or the kills on a cap and stuff like that. And most of those haven't really been modified, so I think it'll be fine. Like, it's not a huge deal. The ones that they've increased here were very easy to do, and the ones that they've decreased were not too bad. So I think out of all the changes that we've seen in this setup, this one is actually the best, because it's the most balanced out of them. Like, when it comes to tank RB and when it comes to RB, it's very obvious that they're targeting specific areas, right? So they're trying to make it easier to use light tanks, and they're trying to show how more people get in aircraft now, so we're going to make those specific tasks harder. More people are in mediums and heavy tanks, medium and light tanks. Less people are in heavy tanks, based on this stuff, and especially at certain BRs. When it comes to RRB, not many people are using strike aircraft, it seems. Not many people are using some other ones, such as the good old certain like bombers and things like that at certain levels. So we have to, decrease the bomber one, but they are using them a lot at other levels. So we have to increase the big game going. We're making it a little bit harder to, do these things, in certain areas. So you can kind of tell by how these like special tasks and daily tasks are being changed that there are certain like metas which have been around for a long time, and they're trying to force different playstyles, at least basically through them. And I think like stuff like this should dictate how you play the game. Like, I think it's very important to understand how all these things fit together. And yeah, I think it's all right. Like, it's pretty cool to see these changes. Hopefully they're positive. It will definitely modify how I play the game, because it's just made certain ones that I really enjoy easier, but also at the same time a few of the other ones a little bit harder. But it's not like I'm going to change up that playstyle to get those guys done. It's just going to take me one more game. But at the same time, I understand I play a lot more than other people, so maybe this will affect more people aggressively because they, don't play too much compared to me. So we'll have to see how it goes. I think most of these are positive, though. Like, there's not really any that stand out to be hyper negative, apart from maybe like some of the special changes. As I said, like the crits ones for ground is kind of annoying, but it's not hyper negative at the end of the day. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Millie Draper, Juan the Panda, Nick R. Cupila, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie B. Young, Peter Grayling, Jerry Provolt, Bareen, Alan Hacker, Sem Arslan, Uncle Bean, Derek R., and Lafouche for supporting the channel.